haven't made a video in a while. I don't know that a lot has happened, but I do like keeping this updated because I actually can't remember the way everything's gone down in what order and stuff like that. So it's nice for me to look back and see the sequence of how things have happened over the last few years. I'm still dealing with my platelets. And then I also have the congestion in my chest. And you know how they talk about a productive cough where things come up? It's like that. It's been months of ongoing congestion in my chest. I don't know what to make of it. I feel like I've got some sort of infection. The blood is in the phlegm when my platelets are lower, for the most part. Sometimes there's blood, other times when my platelets aren't as low. So that's ongoing, and I don't know what to make of it, but I did have a chest CT, and I should remember when that was, but it was in 2020. It's now August 21. I'm feeling like okay about that. Nothing was found whatsoever, so I'm letting that be for now. I meet with the radiation oncologist in October, so I've still got some time. The biggest thing that I want to mention to him is that I have trouble swallowing sometimes, and whenever you get the breast cancer radiation, there are tattoos. So I have the tattoo. I have 3 tattoos, which is kind of nice because then I can see like where the lines of radiation were. They put that so that they could line up the beams for radiation, but it's useful now because when I see this tattoo here, I don't know like where the esophagus is and the digestive tract and all of that, but you know, I'm assuming it's like right down the middle. So I'm also assuming that half of that, like half of my esophagus and half of like whatever else is right here was radiated essentially, because that's where the tattoo lines are. So I think that there's fibrosis, and my naturopathic or anal medicine doctor said there's something called Trental, I think, Trental, I think is how it's spelled, and to mention that to him, and that's something, I don't know if it's a pharmaceutical or what. I assumed it wasn't, but I think it may be, and that is for people that have like radiation fibrosis, and I'm guessing that's what's happening. But I used to be able to swallow, like I could throw 5 supplements in my mouth and, you know, swallow them, and now sometimes 2 feels like they kind of get stuck, or I have to pay a lot more attention to how many things I'm swallowing, how many pills I'm swallowing at once. Sometimes it feels like they get stuck there. I'm drinking like a lot of water, and one time someone told me that if you drink water first and then you take the supplements, because you know how they're in those gel caps, the gel, if you don't drink water, they get kind of stuck because that gel has like this sort of sticky quality to it, which helped. So I make sure to like drink water first. So that's my main thing I'm going to mention to him. I'm getting a blood draw today, and then I'll meet with the oncologist later to look at what my numbers were and see when to schedule IVIG. It's seeming like every 3-4 weeks I need a 60-gram infusion. That's what I've been getting, 60 grams. I get the terrible migraine pretty much right on target, right on cue, like second, third day after the IVIG. It's gnarly, but I take Tylenol and it knocks it from like an 8 or 9 to a 4. So I feel like that's livable. I have another appointment with a different UC Davis doctor. This is a referral from my heme-onc here where I live down to UC Davis, which is actually just in Sacramento. He just wants me to have another blood specialist on the case, you know, to see if there's anything we're missing. And I appreciate that. I do. I feel like I'm getting better. I feel like my energy's coming back. I mean, last night I slept 5 hours, which is awful. I'm really trying to focus on getting good sleep. So to me, good sleep is like 7.5 hours or more, and even 7 or more. But there's a lot of days where I get 6 hours of sleep, and it's not enough. So I don't know why I couldn't sleep last night, but I'm working on that. I have my hypnotherapy today, and we're doing a lot of visualization. He puts me into a hypnotic state, but we're doing visualization on this like image that arose for me when he was working with me in previous sessions about this Zulu warrior like slicing my platelets. And so it's this whole visualization thing that we're doing, and is helping. You know, we did one for my sleep. We're doing one trying to figure out like what's going on, to see if my subconscious mind will give me any clues about what's happening with this platelet situation. Is it my spleen? Is it in the bone marrow? What's going on, to see if there's the wisdom of my own body. And that's mostly like what we're doing the hypnotherapy around, and I just like doing it because it's so relaxing. I really like the person I'm doing it with, and I'm hoping that turns, you know, amounts to something. I hope that my platelets recover. Besides being tired today, in general, my energy is a lot better. I just have like more pep in my step, so to speak, and I feel grateful for that. I don't feel like a walking zombie every day, so it's going to be really curious to see what my platelets are today. Like last week they were 150 and they're basically trending down, so I'm expecting they'll be, I don't know, around 100 or something, because last time I let them, it got down, they were like 43, and then it took like 3-4 days for me to get the infusion because of just for scheduling reasons, and I felt like it wasn't good for those days. You know, it's dangerous. If I were to get hurt, it would be a problem. I opened my car door into my leg like a few weeks ago, and I ended up with a major bruise on my calf, and the bruise took a while to heal up, which makes sense for someone who's got blood problems like me, but it left this kind of like bump. I don't know, I wonder, yeah, it's still there. It's kind of like this big welt is what it feels like. And that's not healing, so I guess that's worth mentioning. That's worth mentioning to the doctor today too, when I meet with him to go over my blood results. I'm trying to keep a log of what's going on. Like when I get headaches, I had a couple days where like really bright blood was in my phlegm, like not a good sign, you know, that could be lung cancer and shit like that. So I'm trying to keep a better log of that too, so that when I talk to doctors, I can actually refer to like what happened and when and for how long, because that's what they always want to know, is for how long, and it's hard to answer that question sometimes. I guess that's pretty much it. My daughter started school and other things are happening, but that's my health update at the moment. I am definitely feeling a lot better and feel grateful, and I'm just taking all my supplements, and I'm trying to I'm jumping rope, and I have a rebounder, and I live in Northern California where the smoke has been horrible, really bad. Like this is the first day the sun is actually shining in here. You can see it in the video. AQI in the 200s, 300s, we've had it in the 400s. So it's like I can't always take the walks I want to take, and it's nice to do something else too. I forgot about jumping rope. Jumping rope is like, I don't know, it's fun. So this morning I was looking up different ways to jump rope and how to burn some calories that way, because I feel so stuck with my exercise and this extra 10 pounds that I've gained since I had my ovaries out, which I guess is the 10 pounds, 5 to 10 pounds that women gain when they hit menopause. And I'm like, great, you know, let's add that into the mix of all of it. You know, it's uncomfortable having extra weight. I don't like the feeling. I don't like the way it looks. And I used to be able to lose weight so easily. I think I was a lot more active. My metabolism has changed, and so I can't lose weight the way I used to. I could just eat a little bit less and exercise a little bit more, but now that's not working for me. Now I'm just kind of staying at, like, I weigh 140 about, and I just can't shake it back down to 130, which is my comfort weight. And also the weight at which my clothes fit me, you know, there's like a lot of clothes that I can't wear, and it's all happened in the last year since I got my ovaries out. So anyway, I mean, that's a small thing in the scheme of things, 10 pounds, but it's still like part of me feeling like myself, feeling like my old self, looking like my old self. I mean, there's so many things that cancer took away from me, or cancer treatments, I like to say, because obviously the treatments wouldn't have happened without the cancer, but when I had cancer, I didn't have any of the issues. It was when I started getting the treatments, you know, chemo and radiation, they took their toll on me. I always say they like just shy of kill you. And I feel like that's what they did. They just shy of killed me. just in effort to kill the cancer. I really took my health for granted my whole life, I guess, because I basically was always a quote-unquote healthy person. It's always felt like I was healthy, and then cancer happened, and it kind of flipped me on my head, like, where the hell did that come from, you know? I would have never thought that I would be somebody who would have gotten cancer based on my life choices, but there you go. It happened, you know? Cancer doesn't discriminate. I get my blood draw, and my platelets are, a couple of days ago, they were at 80. So within 6 days, they went from 161 to 80, which is pretty poor. The hem-onc is like, wow, that's a big drop. So we're now scheduling me for monthly IVIG transfusions, which I think is good. Just to get them scheduled now, we basically know. And I think I'm gonna switch gears. I've talked about Mederi previously, and I think they're good. I mean, I had other people recommend them. I don't have any issues with them, although I'm still dealing with the platelet issue. And I had read an article that I forwarded to one of the doctors there, a couple different articles, and those articles purported to cure the ITP, and it's almost been a year and I'm still dealing with it. So for whatever reason, it hasn't worked for me to this point. So I'm gonna go with somebody who's local to us, who is very reputable and of course very expensive because it's out of pocket naturopath. She's a medical doctor actually, but still it's quite expensive. Hope that she can help me with the issue. She actually, what's great about her is when I first had a cancer diagnosis, my partner at the time had gone to see her a bunch of times, and he had nothing but good things to say about her. And he went to see her at one of his appointments and asked if she would write up an order for labs for his girlfriend, and she did that for me. And it was the most thorough, comprehensive labs I've ever had an order for. So I appreciate it so much that she was able to do that for me. And I can't remember everything, but like vitamin D and things that like my hem-onc doesn't track, and I don't even know if he cares about it. He never mentions it. The doctor that I have at Mederi had me get a bunch of tests early on when I first consulted with her, and vitamin D was one of them, zinc was another, certain things like that. I'm really excited to go and see this doctor locally and see what she could do for me. I don't have an appointment till the end of the month, so it'll be a little bit of a wait. And then tomorrow I'm getting the IVIG. Like all the times I've gotten IVIG, in the beginning I didn't used to get the migraines, so I don't know why I am now and why I didn't then. But I think it's also good to have fresh eyes on your case. You know, I've been at this for a while. The hem-onc that I've had has been with me since the beginning, which is November 2017. And I think he's fine, but like he has me going to see a new UC Davis doctor, and that appointment's not till December, but he said it's good to have fresh eyes. And I think that's true. It's nice. It seems like initial consults are always the most bang for your buck. They're spending a lot of quality time with me, and they're being very thorough. I still really appreciate my radiation oncologist. Kind of a young guy, and he spends a lot of time with me, and he does a physical exam, which nobody else does. And I think that's so important, to like feel around for lumps or anything, because it's not that uncommon for a woman who's had a mastectomy to have a reoccurrence at the surgery line, which I don't really know how that works, but I've definitely read about that enough times to know that happens. And so you really need somebody's hands on your chest, and I'm glad that he does that. So I meet with him in October, and right now it's September 1st, so that's my little update. I know my platelets are low now, and I slept like shit last night. For some reason, I just can't get the sleep thing figured out, which is it's just such a bummer. I take a CBD tincture, and I also take melatonin. So I don't even know what else to do. I do have caffeine in the morning, but I'm not having much, and I don't have it in the afternoon, and I just don't sleep well. I fall asleep no problem. I just can't stay asleep. I wake up at every little sound. That's kind of what my problem is. So if there's any sound in the house, it will wake me up. I'm open to any recommendations anybody has about that.